Shamrock Rovers' 4 in a row in the 1980s has been the benchmark of Irish football for 4 decades.
The 4 in a row is like the Mecca, and we're the only club ever to do it.
It seems like it's this unobtainable, mythical thing that happened before times.
Until now. The current squad stands 4 games away from immortality as they look to achieve their own 4 in a row.
And to emulate that, it just doesn't happen that often in football.
We went on the journey with the fans to find out what it means to see their team create history.
Absolutely bricking it as well.
Having lived through difficult days over the last 40 years.
Well, I don't think any other club in Ireland would have survived that trauma.
Football's not good for your health.
On the cusp of glory, this is Shamrock Rovers. The Irish capital of Dublin is home to 5 top-flight clubs spread right across the city. But it is Tallaght that is home to the most successful team in the country.
We are the biggest club in the world. We're the most recognisable name outside the world, most successful club. You can see the stats, trophies won, etc.
It's a family club, traditional, very inclusive.
It's a very inclusive club. There's a huge diversity, every strata of society as well.
Like, people at Rovers are good people, and it's a very, even though we're a huge club with thousands of supporters, there is this real family atmosphere where everyone knows each other, everyone looks out for each other.
I don't know, the atmosphere is really good, like around the ground, like everybody's like always up for it, kind of.
The atmosphere is, I think the word is electric. There's not a stadium in the country that can beat it.
And then when you say to your friends, like, oh, like, who do you support? And I'm like, Shamrock Rovers, and they're like, oh, do you not support like the Premier League? I'm like, not really, no.
And it's a cliche thing to go down. It's League of Ireland versus Premier League, but it is true. Getting in there, you get to know people, you're meeting players left, right and centre.
Rovers draw support from all over the city, and I think Rovers are very, very ingrained in the culture of Dublin.
And the success says everything about it. It's steeped in success.
And while their 20 titles remains an Irish record, it's a run of 4 back-to-back leagues in the 1980s that continues to define Rovers as a club.
A Rovers on a League of Ireland level, the 4 in a row is like the Mecca,
It just means so much to the club, to the older generation who lived through that as well, because you've got the legends of the 80s, you've got the Pat Bournes, the Mick Bournes, a brilliant, brilliant team that'll always go down in folklore, and to emulate that, I think it's just huge.
It's always been so present as a Rovers fan. If you're ever drinking with any Rovers out lad, they'll mention it 20 times. We have so many songs that reference it.
There are people now who are 35, 40 who have no memory of those games in the 80s for the first 4 in a row.
Well, you see, we won the league in 83, 84, and for me, it was the first time Rovers won the league in 20 years, so it didn't really mean that much to me because it was my first year going constantly. But for guys who had seen, a lot of guys had seen the 20 years, that day, there's probably tears from grown men around. I was just delighted we won the league, and we won 3 more leagues after that. But the first one was the one that started the flow to get us going.
They were an amazing team, an amazing legacy. A lot of the original 4 in a row team still come to all the matches here. There's still a great connection between that original 4 in a row team and the current Shamrock Rovers setup.
In 1987, they probably didn't realise that 30, 40 years in the future, that would still be the moment that defined their life as a Rovers fan.
In 1987, after clinching their 4th consecutive league title, the club was stopped in its tracks when it was announced they'd be leaving their home at Milltown.
Unfortunately, I'm old enough to remember hearing the news on the radio when they announced that Shamrock Rovers were moving out of Milltown, and I was in the car with my dad and he nearly crashed the car. It was like a bolt out of the blue. And for the first season when the club moved to Tolka Park, our Sunday afternoons were spent outside the ground on the boycott.
We had 22 years in a row. We called them the wilderness years, where we had no ground. We played in Richmond Park, Pat's ground, Dalymount, Bowes ground.
There was one game where they had to play their home match down in Cork.
Playing all over Dublin, being kicked out of Richmond.
Tolka Park, Shelbourne's ground. We played in Santry Stadium. Lots of different stadiums, you know, we couldn't really call it home.
It was hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel, and there were so many false dawns. Just really awful times, and it was the hardcore who were going to the matches back then.
If Milltown had not been sold to property developers, that Shamrock Rovers team would have won 5, 6, 7 leagues. And I'm no doubt about that whatsoever. In 1989, 5 or 6 of those same players who had played in that went to Derry City, and they won the treble with Derry City. The backbone of that team was still winning leagues 2 years later. So I've no doubt in my mind that team would have gone on to definitely 5, 6, 7 leagues.
I mean, it's a testament to the club that it survived at all. I don't think any other club in Ireland would have survived that trauma, and you know, they're getting their reward now.
To understand the history, it's obviously a big part of the success that we've had today. It makes the success today even greater, knowing the sacrifices that went in from before.
With only 4 games to go, the 2023 squad needs only 2 wins to seal a historic second 4 in a row, starting with a home game against Drogheda.
It's another step on the road to a 4 in a row for Shamrock Rovers. An important 3 points for Stephen Bradley's side. They've won this one by 5 goals to 0.
Drogheda just didn't show up. Didn't show up at all, but 1 step closer to the 4 in a row, and huge game in Richmond Park next Friday, so could be wrapped up in a week, hopefully.
Like in a league as kind of even historically as the League of Ireland, to win 4 in a row is just insane, but to do it twice in your club's history is just like mad.
You know, if you look at the Premier League in England, like none of the great teams, the Manchester Cities, none of them managed to do 4 in a row. It's hard to keep a squad together, to keep the motivation, and everybody's shooting for you as well.
We are witnessing history, and this is something that we will talk about for the rest of our lives as Rovers fans, that like I was alive for Rovers winning 4 leagues in a row.
And to do it again, we really, you know, cement ourselves, you know, in history, League of Ireland history, like, you know.
It'll be under 1 manager the whole 4 seasons, which will be huge for Bradley as well. A huge accomplishment.
We're going into Richmond possibly having to win the league in Richmond Park. I don't think football is for you if you haven't got a bundle of nerves going into these games.
Watts gets it back across, here's the chance, and it's in! Shamrock Rovers have their goal.
So you live in the dream. You should see it through someone else's side. Another cipher to break, while the grass grows underneath my feet. Running out of time for so long. Hello. tell you. Hello, 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 yeah. Hello, yeah.
It can be very overwhelming when you're down in it, and it can just feel like it's great, Rovers are winning the trophy. But I think that as time goes on, I think people will realise that what we're a part of now is Irish football and Shamrock Rovers history.
Of course, the 4 in a row means a lot to everybody, more so the older fans, but of course just as much to us too. It's unbelievable, you know, to get to watch this team make history first of all, but to get to witness this in person, it's unbelievable.
There should be murals, Shamrock Rovers, green and white, everywhere around Tallaght. It's huge. It's a monster of an achievement.
To actually say that you've seen 11 of the 21 league wins, it's just I just kind of think, wow. And then it's like she's gone for 4. Her brother's gone for 6. You know, and they're young. You know, so there's a big chance that they could see loads and loads. So that's, from that point of view, it's great.
And I can't wait till, you know, I'm that age and my kids are going to Rovers, and I'll be able to say, you know, I was there for the 4 in a row that happened in the 20s, and, you know, hopefully 5, 6, 7 in a row if all goes well.
Shamrock Rovers is very special to me, to my family. At Dad's funeral, there was a Shamrock Rovers jersey beside the coffin. You know, that's how deep it goes. So yeah, no, Rovers will always be very special.
That's it. Thanks very much.
Not at all. My pleasure.
Yeah, that's it. Deadly. Sick.
No problem. Good stuff, mate. All the best.